Hey guys, Dr. Jacqueline here from the Invitality Wellness Center, your guys' Wellness Way affiliate, coming to you live solo this evening. Hello and happy Monday. I have my hubby who is involved in a memorial golf tournament, so Paul is laying down to rest because he's had a long, busy day participating in that. So we're super excited to be part of the Bob Green Memorial Golf Tournament. Our office sponsored a hole. He participated and got a team going. So all that has been super fun with him, and he is just starting to wind down from that today. So you've got just me this evening. But it's still going to be an awesome night. Today, I wanted to come to you after a busy day in the office as usual and talk to you about gut health. So I wanted to talk to you tonight about 5 important things that you could be doing that are common things that harm the gut. So I am always hearing about gut health in the office, you guys. So feel free to comment if you want to. Tell me where you are from. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Love to interact with you this evening. But again, I want to cover gut health tonight because this is a question that I get asked all the time in the office, whether it's for babies, whether it's for adults. Some type of gut health question is typically something I see very often with new patients, and is something that is a common complaint on why people come in to see me. So I wanted to cover 5 common things that you could be doing that impact your gut health tonight. And feel free to ask questions along the ways. So I wanted to just talk to you about a recent survey that was taken. So 74%, that's almost 3/4 of Americans on this survey complained that they had some type of gut health issue going on. That is a lot of people, whether that is gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, some type of stomach or reflux or abdominal pain. That's a lot of people out there, you guys. This was just a regular poll given out there, asking Americans if they have some type of gut issue. That's a lot of people. 3/4 of people answered yes, that they do have some kind of gut issue. So a lot of people are super knowledgeable. Hey Tanya, hello everybody. Hope you're having a great Monday. So I'm going to be covering, like I said, the 5 common things that you could be doing that harm your gut health. So like I said, about 3/4 of Americans claim on this survey they have some type of gut issue. There are also, in terms of that, a lot of people that are embarrassed to bring this up to their medical doctors or practitioners. So this is something that I always tell new patients in my office. Look, we're going to talk about everything here. There is no topic that is off topic here in this office, and we talk about poop freely. So you guys, if you've not looked in the toilet lately, if you don't know how to analyze your poop, we're going to get into that tonight, because all these things are hints that something is off in your gut. And if you don't have pain, a lot of people just assume there is no problem. That's not the case, you guys. In case you guys didn't know, I want you to understand, like, there are a lot more nerve endings up in your fingers, which makes sense because when you get a paper cut up in your finger, oh my gosh, it just stings and it burns. So your sensory neurons are very sensitive, and you have a lot of them in a very small surface area. Your gut is not the same. So you have a lot of motor neurons that carry signals into what's called your smooth muscle, your digestion pieces, but what you don't have is a lot of those sensory feeling neurons in your gut. So this is why you could have a lot of GI stuff going on and you don't necessarily feel that happening. It's different than a finger cut or a sprained ankle. Just because you have constipation doesn't always mean you have massive, like, stomach pain and digestive pains. It could just be that you just get constipated a couple times a week and you think that that is is normal, and you don't hurt from that. So you associate not hurting that there is no issue. And that is simply not the case, you guys, when it comes to digestive health and gut health. So I just want to bring those pieces up because, again, those are always questions that I hear about when it comes to the gut as well. In terms of what comes out of the GI, this is why the gut health is so important. I always tell people this is the building block to your health. So remember, everything that you eat are the building blocks and the foundation for every single process in the body. This is why it is so, so important if you have issues in this spot in the body that you help them get solved. Because remember, your hormones come out of your gut. This is where your hormones and those building blocks to create that stuff is coming from. Same thing with all your neurotransmitters up in your brain. 80%, you guys, of your serotonin is made in your gut and then travels up into the brain. Your brain does not produce a whole lot amount of that. Tons and tons of other things come out of the gut. Again, all building blocks. So you could be eating the very, very best diet, but again, if you are not digesting and absorbing your food properly and your GI function is not working properly, your body is missing out on a ton of things. Like I always say, you just have expensive poop. You literally do, because everything that you're eating never makes its way into the body to do its job. So that's a huge issue, as well as what you're eating. So I always love to bring all these things up to people as we're talking through their health and their gut issues, because again, this is a very common thing that I see in the office all the time. Even parents asking about just for their kids, well, what do I do and how do I start off to make sure my children have good gut health? As well as just the average person. So, number one thing, we're talking about the 5 common things that you may be doing that harm your gut health. Number one thing is a specific medication. So I want to talk first tonight about protein pump inhibitors. These are PPIs. These are basically prescription level medications that inhibit that proton pump in the stomach, brings stomach acid levels down, and that actually harms your gut health. So I have pulled up here on my phone a couple of the most commonly prescribed PPIs, Prilosec, Prevacid, Nexium, Protonix. Again, these could be generic names as well. So generic names, this is one I see all the time on my intake form. Omeprazole, and I might slaughter these, I apologize. Pantoprazole, esomeprazole, so any of those types of medications. Again, those PPIs, any type of over-the-counter, basically reflux medication. These inhibit proton pumps in the stomach, bringing stomach acid down, and this is where your body actually needs to have acidity. The stomach's job is to sanitize the food coming in. It does that with acid. So again, if you are not sanitizing this food properly and it's going into the digestive tract, you are actually taking away its ability, and you're going to change down the line the type of bacteria that are there. So again, this is kind of a little bit of an indirect way, but this is a big, big deal. By inhibiting this, you're changing your biome. So in case you guys have not looked at this, there's a huge biome in the gut. I always tell patients it's a big ecosystem. And you have good guys and bad guys and kind of strange things floating around. But the main thing that you want in charge is your good guys. Your good guys should have the foothold, the platform, everything should work through them. And then anything else in the body that should be there should be around, but not in high counts. So that's the main thing for that piece that I want to talk about. If you have any type of protein pump inhibitor that you are taking, something like Prilosec OTC even, if you look under the side effects, you'll see a whole list of digestive issues, things we just talked about, things like gas, bloating, stomach pain. A lot of the things that you're actually trying to help by taking it are right there listed as side effects. And on top of that, it really does mess with that biome and create issues. So number one, protein pump inhibitors. So again, that heartburn reflux medication. Number two, thinking that you don't need to buy organic. So let's get into this, you guys. Now, it may not be a possibility for you to do this completely 100%, but let's talk organic versus non-organic foods and what that truly means. So, in case you don't know this, let me adjust this. Our camera is doing some strange things tonight. In case you don't know, anything that is not labeled organic can have pesticides, can have herbicides in the food. So what is called quote-unquote conventional, even natural, does not have to have no herbicides and pesticides. So what that means is the crop can be directly sprayed with that, and no matter how much you wash it, guess what's getting into you? There's going to be some kind of residue, there's going to be some type of food that you're eating where you are now actually eating the herbicide or the pesticide. Guess what that's going to do to your body? It does the same thing that it does to the insects that they're trying to kill off from eating the crop. It's going to kill off your good gut biome. So there are certainly foods that are better and worse. So one great resource that I love is called the Dirty Dozen. This is done by the Environmental Working Group. So EWG.org, environmentalworkinggroup.org, they're a nonprofit organization. They actually do independent testing every year on the dirtiest foods. So the foods on this list, you should absolutely 100% of the time be buying organic. And this list does change a little bit. But they're foods that you can imagine that are hard to wash, hard to, like basically anything with a big, hard, thick kind of outer layer is a lot easier to get that fruit on the inside and have it still be okay. Something like, for an example of that would be like an orange. So there's a big, hard, thick peel, and that's going to have a lot easier of a time to get away from being organic. Hello, Kelly. Got a couple people popping on now. Something like, for example, strawberries, which is almost always on that list. Think about it. It grows on the ground. It can be sprayed repeatedly. This is something where there's not a shell or an outer layer to take off. You just eat the strawberry itself. So strawberry is definitely on the Dirty Dozen. That, again, may not be possible for you to buy 100% organic. The other thing that's fantastic is during the summertime, you guys, go to your farmers markets. These are small family operations who may not be certified organic, but if you go and chat with them, they will tell you what they're doing. And oftentimes they're not going to be able to afford a USDA certified organic label, but they are growing things organically. Same thing with any CSAs. So what a CSA is, a crop share that can be delivered or picked up. And same thing with this, like they may have a lot of quote unquote organic, it just may not be certified organic. The hard part with these is they're typically seasonal. They're only going to happen when there's growing seasons happening. And so now is plentiful. Like right now I always say is rainbow season. Everything's available, everything's very easy to find. You're seeing very fresh, very local, things that are easy to pick up. It's a little bit harder in December. We're not there yet, but just know like now's the time to go find these things and use these resources. But yes, organic does matter, because if you're hammering your gut with, for example, conventionally grown strawberries every week, if you like to throw them in your smoothie, if you like to do different, fruit dishes, and you're repetitively doing that, it's going to impact your gut biome. It's gonna kill things off in there. So yes, number two is, you know, organic does matter, especially for certain foods. So keep that in mind. But you have great resources this time of year. So use that to your advantage. Number three, you guys, eating processed foods. So what this means is prepackaged things, especially things high in sugar. Sugar does not feed the good bacteria in your body. So keep that in mind. It typically feeds yeast, and yeast is okay, but you do not want yeast in high quantities in your gut. Again, you want good, healthy strains of bacteria to be the highest. Yeast are always hanging out in there, but you do not want to overfeed them. And sugar is a thing that definitely does feed yeast in the body. So anything processed, that means anything out of a box, that means anything that you cannot go and pick out in a field somewhere, anything that seems inflammatory. There's even basically resistant strains that can start to develop in the gut, and produce a whole basically film. So of things, like, it starts to be crazy. This biofilm, if you've ever researched some of this, actually protects the bad bacteria. They put up their own defense system so that it is harder to kill them off. We do not want to do that, you guys. That is not in a good thing. Oh, Kelly. So wine that's a great question. There are companies out there that do it right. A big thing that a lot of people don't understand is the alcohol industry does not have to play by the same rules. They do not have to label everything that goes in to a bottle of wine, for example, or a bottle of vodka. The way that they would have to label, for example, like if you go and buy like coconut juice or a coconut drink off the shelf in Whole Foods. So wine can be produced really well or really poorly. So there is actually about 100 additives and chemicals that they can put into there. If they don't, if you got to research these things and look at the company. So one company that I absolutely love to go through, this is one that I have in the office, is called Scout and Cellar. They basically source all these wines across the world that they are doing it right. And I'll put the link below when I'm finished with the video of where to order from. They go through and third-party test everything, source it, check to make sure these wineries are doing it properly, and they do that service to basically procure these wines so that you can feel good about what you're drinking. Now, in case you guys don't know this, there's about, like I said, 100 additives that can be added. There's chemical start and stoppers that, again, can be added to wine to speed up the process, especially with commercial growers. They're trying to start and stop that fermentation process instead of letting it occur naturally. They can add sugar, they can add coloring, they can add sulfites, they can add all kinds of things. There's some kind of nastier things that they can add, and they do not have to tell you. They do not have to label it the way that coconut drink has to be labeled on the shelf. So yes, Kelly, it is important to look, because wine can be very healthy when done properly. And so think about those old world kind of mom and pop places that do it right, that allow nature to take its course. And there's a lot of family type of businesses out there like that, but a lot of the commercial stuff doesn't do it right. They're going for profit, they're going for pure like volume, and so they're not really concerned with the end products and what's in it. And that goes for distilled liquors as well. There's a lot of companies out there, again, they don't have to really tell you, oh, well, we put red 40 in here and we added, orange, and maybe you can't do orange, and they don't really have to give you those details. So unfortunately, you do have to really do your research on how these companies produce these things. So yes, not a problem. Wine can be healthy, but when done right and when it's not a food allergy. So, processed foods. Again, knowing what goes into your body. This is a lot of work. Do it in baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed. And number 4. Here we go. Staying out of the sun. Not true. Okay, my camera's focusing kind of funny. Let's adjust it here. So, not true. Do not stay out of the sun. Now, here's the thing. It is summertime. I do not want you burning. Burning is unhealthy for your skin, but please, please get out and get some vitamin D. Vitamin D is critical for your stomach, for your digestive tract, for your immune function, for so many things across the board in the body. And the way that you get it for free is going outside without sunscreen. Now is a wonderful time of year. It's nice and hot. The sun is close. Now, here's a couple of rules. You do not want to go out in the peak of the summer day. So, whatever your kind of peak heat index is, maybe for us here in Colorado, it's usually about like 1 to 3, 12:30 to 2:30, kind of in that time range. So it's best to go out like towards the morning hours, towards the evening hours when the rays are not going to be as intense, and go out and just know your limit. Like if you know you can get out with a good chunk of your skin exposed, so getting out with the tank top and some shorts, getting your whole face and your arms and legs exposed for about 20 to 30 minutes to the point where you're not going to burn. That's the key. You do not want to burn because that's not good for your skin. But getting that UVB, particularly those wavelengths, are the most important to bring up your vitamin D levels. And they have done studies that show vitamin D levels and those that have bacteria in the gut, so that gut biome, so high vitamin D correlates with good variety and good gut biomes. So they go hand in hand, and they've actually done some studies where people that had terrible gut biomes across the board, they exposed them to specifically UVB rays, which are part of the beneficial rays that come out of the sun, and even just three exposures to those UVB rays, their gut biomes changed and improved compared to where they started. How cool is that, guys? So your body is totally movable, totally shiftable, and that's the beauty. So right now, please get out, enjoy the sun. And if you're gonna get to a place where you're gonna burn, please, yes, put on the sunscreen. But give yourself some vitamin D. It is good to go outside and get some sun exposure. And then in the winter months, when you know that's not going to happen, and especially even in Colorado, even though we're very sunny all year round, those rays are not as beneficial in the summertime because they're just not strong enough. So when that's going to be the case, it's time to start supplementing it. So typically for patients here in Colorado, I tell them, about September, October, it's time to supplement the vitamin D until about May, when those rays become strong enough again. And get your levels tested. If you just aren't sure where you sit, get a blood draw. Any doctor can do this, whether that's your primary care, whether that's a wellness way practitioner like myself. Know where you sit. Don't just be guessing. That's the key. Let's do some testing so we understand what type of sun exposure to get. Because if you're low, now's the time to load up before the summer. Number 5, last one here, we're looking at things that you could be doing that harm your gut. Being a couch potato. So sitting around, you guys, exercise is beneficial. So we like potatoes. Potatoes are actually very healthy for your gut, assuming that you do not have a food allergy to them. But you've got to get up and move. So there are numerous studies out there that show that athletes, especially those that exercise regularly, have better gut biomes. So better gut health, better variety of the flora that live there. So the different, bacteria phylums, as they're called, or the different bacteria families. And this doesn't have to get crazy, you guys. Like 30 minutes a day, and we're talking moderate movement. So this means you get your heart rate up. It can also include walking. So I always tell patients, if you're going into the office, park farther away. If you have a lunch break, and you have an exercise facility within your building, which a lot of people do, the office in bigger buildings, take your stuff. Like, you don't have to get crazy over lunchtime, but hop on the bike, hop on the elliptical, like do a short little HIIT routine with some timed things that are through that process where we're getting our heart rate up for a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be this intense, CrossFit workout. Like, this just means move your body. And I always tell patients, do what you like. I'm not telling you have to go to the gym and take, Zumba. If that is not your jam, don't force yourself to do it, because you're never going to do it. If you love, swimming, get out and swim. If you love hiking, get out and hike. It does not have to be in a gym if that is not your thing. Yoga, Pilates, these are better exercises. They're not everything for everybody, though. I love summertime for sports as well. We've got tons of patients getting out doing mountain biking. They're getting out doing golf. Any of these things can be fantastic for movement. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. Pick something else. My goal is never to make anybody miserable with exercise. So there's so many things that you can do, and actually just that movement as well, just moving your body helps with your digestion track what's called motility. So helping your body moves your digestion along as well. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 there. So if you do have a lot of constipation going on, exercise becomes important, even if it's just a walk. That does actually aid right there in your digestive health. So let's go through these 5 things that you might be doing one more time. Number 1, taking a heartburn medication. So like I talked about at the beginning, the PPIs, not good. Those especially have side effects of what we're trying to prevent. Number 2, not buying organic. So again, look at that dirty dozen, see what's going on there, see if you have any of those particular things that you can make that swap on. It's very, very easy. Use those farmer markets this time of year. Number 3, eating processed foods, specifically sugar, you guys. Sugar does not feed the right things in the body. So on top of that, jump to things like stevia, like xylitol, like monk fruit. You have better choices if you want something sweetened. Just don't use the cane sugar. Cane sugar is not good. Number 4, staying out of the sun. Do not do that. Get some sun. Don't burn yourself, but get some sun. Sun is key to digestive health and keeping a healthy biome. Number 5, being a couch potato. Not exercising. Again, potatoes are good for our health, but being couch potato is not good for our health. So again, talking about gut health overall, if you're dealing with bloating, heartburn, reflux, digestive pains, cramping, I hear it put to me so many different ways, diarrhea, constipation, anything like that with gut health. These are super easy things that you can do to check on your gut health. The next step is testing, you guys. So getting with me or a Wellness Way practitioner to actually assess function. If you know you're good on a lot of these things and you still don't have answers for why that stuff is going on, it's time to get tested. It's time to look at something like food allergies or stool test, where we can actually sit down and look at what is going on in your specific gut and figuring out what is going on and what the problem is. Because it really doesn't matter the age of the person. I have seen, for example, protozoa, so full-on parasites in a 2-year-old. I have seen, a 65-year-old who just had a little bit of flora imbalance, so she had a little bit of overgrowth, but nothing crazy, So it doesn't matter the age. If that digestive function isn't right, it's time to look at it, because there's a lot of things that come out of that gut. And if you're not getting those things produced properly, you're missing out. That is a huge keystone to a lot of other pieces in the body. And we got to get the gut right to really build on that and keep moving out from there and creating good health in the body. So Hope that answers some questions for you guys tonight. I am working on gathering a lot of pieces and information and studies for my next live next Monday night. I'm hoping I'll be ready by next Monday, but I want to next Monday cover masks and children. I really want to discuss, and this is going to be a little bit of a hot topic, more so the physiology and the neurology that starts to happen when young kids wear masks, so that parents have some great information and solid pieces of studies and scientific literature to make good informed decisions. So I am super excited for that. Like I said, I've been working kind of hard on it a little bit this week, and I'm hoping I'll be ready by next Monday. I think I will be with that information. That way, as families discuss kids going back to school, they have some really great things to go off of. So hope that helps you guys tonight. Please like and share this if you know somebody struggling with gut issues that this could help. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a great Monday.